All right, good day viewers. Welcome again to Duke TV Online. We are still very much here in Ikeja, the heart of Lagos. Thank you for joining us always. And today, we are highly excited to have in our studio, in conformity with our objective. You know, one of the objectives of the Duke TV is to discover talents. It doesn't matter where they come from. It doesn't matter what religion they follow. What is important is the quality inherent in them that can ultimately be very useful or add value to this country called Nigeria. And that is why it's my pleasure today to welcome to our studio RUHAMAH IFERE. RUHAMAH IFERE is a graduate of law from the National Open University of Nigeria, and she is the immediate past president of Rotaract Club of Isolo, the magic year of 2024-2025. I will not also forget to add that IFERE here is gender equality activist, a trust woman. They will always add that to their CV. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome to Duke TV studio, RUHAMAH IFERE. RUHAMAH, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
I want to talk briefly about your membership of the Rotaract Club of Isolo, you know, and rising to the position of the president of the last Rotary year. I want to ask you, at your relatively tender age, what is it that drove you into humanitarian activities? What are your concerns that make it compelling for you that humanity is what to serve?
Yes, thank you very much for that important question. I've always been an advocate of change in the society, and I like to see where impact is created. And most importantly, I understand that everybody has a role to play, from the government to the private institutions, to the public institutions, we as individuals and community at large. And so when I see any opportunity that provides itself, I seize that opportunity to create that change. Before joining Rotaract, I've always been an active volunteer. I also run a volunteers platform, which I call Volunteers Connect, where I link up volunteers with organizations, and then organizations that are in need of volunteers, I help them to bridge that gap. Because I understand that we have a lot of skills that we can offer. And we're just looking for that opportunity to be able to showcase those skills that would be very beneficial to the society. And of course, as we know, Rotary is one very key sector that is playing a very important role in creating change in the society. We're about serving humanity, we're about creating change, we're about impacting lives. And that was why I joined the Rotaract Club of Isolo, which is close to where I reside. To be able to contribute. Close
to where you live, because I was going to ask why Isolo.
Yes.
But you have answered that. Thank you very much. Before I go to the subject matter, like I said, what are your challenges during your year in Rotary as president? What are the little challenges, and what are the things that you believe should be the way forward?
Yes, thank you very much for that question. So 2024-2025 was tagged the magic year. I would say we created a lot of magic in this 2024 to 2025.
As the name suggested.
As the name suggested. Very evidently, one of our very key projects that we executed in partnership with the Rotary Foundation, that's with the support of the Rotary Foundation, was to rehabilitate a borehole projects in Isolo community for residents of the Akimbode Street, for them to be able to have access to clean water. So my year, I would say what made it very possible for us to achieve a lot was because we remain united, we remain committed to our goals. We had the goals planned out. One of our goals was to be known within Isolo as, you know, young people that are creating change. And we achieved that because we had the support of even the Oba of Isolo, as well as other community residents. So now when you talk about Rotaracts, they know that, yes, we know them. There are a couple of young people that meet in the town hall to discuss ways by which they can create impact in the society.
Oh, beautiful. All right, before moving away from that, our viewers may want to know the difference between Rotaract and Rotary.
Yes.
Don't take it for granted that everybody
Everybody
knows.
knows,
So
yes.
please let them know.
So Rotaract is the youth arm of Rotary. So Rotary is the mother foundation, and then Rotaract is the youth arm. So if you are between the ages of 18 to 35, Rotaract is the right place for you to join in. And then from 35 above, you can now
Beyond the
move on
main.
to Rotary
Okay,
Foundation.
thank you for that very brief explanation. All right, let's now go to the business of the day. Who is a girl child?
That's a very important question because many people are of the view that, you know, when somebody is having a very big stature, as a girl, it means you're automatically a woman.
A woman.
And should be addressed as such or engaged as such. But a girl child is one who is under the age of 18 years and needs the guidance and support of adults. A girl child is one who has fundamental human rights, just like also the male gender, and must be protected and promoted at all times. So generally, a girl child is a minor that cannot give consent to a lot of, you know, devices that are being done against the girl child.
Okay, okay. All right. So without limiting gender violence to marriages alone, let's talk about the marriage aspect of it. We have a lot of young ones within that age bracket you have just mentioned who are already married and who are suffering violence in the marriage. And the question is, what is an underage girl or a girl between 18 downward, what is she doing in marriage?
To respond to this question, I would say the society has failed such a child that is found in marriage under the age of 18. Because you are not yet an adult and so should not be given out for marriage. But then there are a lot of factors that have, you know, led to child marriage being on the increase.
All right.
And, you know, such factors include the economic factors because, you know, there are some families where they are not able to take care of the girl child, and they believe that giving the girl child off in marriage will help to settle that issue. So
And
it's like,
ease the burden of
and ease the burden
nurturing.
of nurturing. But then they don't know that they are creating more harm than good. Because it's clearly what you have just done is like slavery. You've sold that child off for maybe some amount of money. And then that child does not have that freedom to be able to achieve what that child is supposed to achieve, what she's supposed to achieve, like, you know, getting access to quality education, you know, making sure that her dreams are fulfilled. Everything, it just dies down because she has been sold off under child marriage, which is, to me, is just slavery. Now, again, to answer your question, another thing is that most people believe that the girl child just exists essentially for marriage. So they don't believe that a girl should go to school, because eventually when she goes to school, she ends up still getting married and bearing the name of that particular family.
Investment put on them
It's a waste.
It's a waste.
To them,
Yes.
it's just a waste. They believe that it's the male child that should be focused on and, you know,
Empowered
and all
from
of
them
that.
they expect returns.
But we're seeing that the case is not so, because we are seeing a lot of, you know, women that are doing great things in the society. And it's possible because they had access to quality education. It's possible because their dreams was not cut off.
Yes.
It's possible because they were able to fulfill their ambitions in life, and they are creating change in the society.
Wow, I love this. Okay, you know, I said we should not limit it to marriage alone.
Yes, sir.
So there are a lot of other ways that gender violence are being committed outside marriage. Some girls are living with their foster parents. Some are living with uncles, with relatives. Some have lost their parents. And in a way, it's not so rosy for them in the condition under which they are put. And then even on the street, harassment just because she's a girl. What's your view about this?
Yeah, it's a very important observation that you made here, sir, because the gender inequality occurs in different ways. So it could be emotional, it could be psychological, it could be physical. But then there are other methods like rape, for instance. Rape is one of the common gender-based violence against the girl child. And, you know, the fact that the girl child has not given consent, because clearly she's a minor. So even if she says yes, sometimes it's usually because of coercion, because of force, and the fact that, okay, she doesn't even have any other alternative. But as someone who is an adult, or as someone who should understand that this girl child has fundamental human rights, and right now she has the right to be free from sexual exploitation. She has the right to be free from not being touched or harassed in a way that does not respect her. Then that person is supposed to pull back and not continue in such an act. Now we see this happening in several cases in our communities, in our societies, and most girls do not speak up. They are not speaking up because, one, they are afraid. Two, they are afraid of being judged. Because yes, we have seen cases where when a girl speak up and say, I've been raped, people begin to ask questions like, what were you
She
wearing?
want to create a problem.
Yes, what were you wearing on that day? Are those the questions you should ask? We've seen cases where someone that was fully clothed in abaya, like this Muslim clothing, was
Still raped, of course.
Someone on jean was still raped. So those questions are not the questions you should ask. Any survivor of, gender-based violence, like rape, for instance, should be believed. And then the next step is to making sure that the perpetrators, that is the person that has done that, should be apprehended.
Yes.
And then law is
The full weight of the law should be brought down on the person.
Exactly, and justice brought. And it's something that we need to create more awareness on, because we are not there yet. We need to create more awareness about it.
I fully agree with you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, Ruhama, from all this you have said, as a matter of fact, one is highly concerned, because there are things that we also know. We hear of it, we're aware of it, and we can never come to tell the world that it is good or tolerable or should be encouraged. So what is your own view or assessment of the law or its implementation or enforcement? How satisfied are you with the way Nigerian laws are addressing this kind of problem?
We have laws in Nigeria. We have provisions of the laws that have provided for, the rights of the girl child to be protected at all times. For instance, in Nigeria, we have the Child Rights Act. We also have the Violence Against Prohibitions Act.
Wow.
And of course, we also have our criminal code. But then the issue here is about enforcement and implementation. And that's why I said in my previous discussion that it's about creating awareness. Many people are not even aware that there are laws that exist to protect their rights. They just believe that Nigeria is a lawless country. Some people believe that they can never get justice in this country because they just believe that, law does not exist. But these laws exist to actually bring about that justice. Now, after you've known about all of these laws, then the next step that we need to know about enforcement and implementation is making sure that the processes that are involved in bringing to life this law is followed. So, for instance, a girl has been raped and then attention has been drawn to it. There are sexual referral health centers in Nigeria, even in Lagos, like Mirabel Health Centers, Cheche Yara Foundation, and even the Lagos State Domestic Sexual Violence Agencies that exist with free call hotlines. You call them and you let them know that this and this has occurred in this particular community. They take swift actions. They provide free services, both counseling, both legal, and health services for that girl child. And of course, they provide anonymity, which is very important.
For the victim?
Yes, for the victim as well as the person who is reporting. Because many people prefer that, let me stay on my own, let me not put myself in trouble.
So that I don't get into trouble.
So, yes. So, because we've seen cases where you come and report and they'll say, so it's you that went to report, and they come and attack that person. Yes, there was a community where we walked in Lagos State. I don't want to mention that community. It's an underserved community. And, they mentioned that part that when they go and report and they go to complain to the police, when the perpetrator asks the police who reported me and they mentioned, they come back and threaten them. So when such things happen in the community, people just keep quiet and say, I beg, I don't want issues. But that should not be so. The anonymity needs to be protected because it will make sure that what this will mean is that more people will begin to speak up because they know they will not be silenced.
Yeah.
They know they will not be intimidated or harassed. So when all of these things are put in place, then we'll see more implementation of these laws and we'll see more justice. Now, again, another thing I want to point out is some people, when they are being raped, I'm using rape as a case scenario because there are other ways that domestic
of course,
violence
beating and battery is
exactly.
part of
the evidences are not safeguarded. So you said somebody raped you, Where is the evidence? It's just word of mouth. The law is not emotional. You know, when you come to court, it's
I've
not that
had
you
a
not tell
case.
the judge that this is what happened to you. The judge was not there. You need to provide evidence that will make him to see that, yes, indeed, this and this has happened to the person. Is what you bring before the court that the court will act upon. So that's why I said more awareness needs to be created so that people need to safeguard these evidences. Because when you bring them and they are irrefutable, when I mean irrefutable, they are evidences that are strong. Then
Of course.
nobody will
They are not
say,
deniable.
yeah, exactly. Nobody will say you are lying because they can see that, of course, these are the evidences that proves that this kind of a thing happened. Just words of mouth does not suffice in these cases. And these are the things we need to create awareness on.
Thank you very much. All right, before we round up, let me ask you, you know you're a lawyer. And anybody listening to you, you know that you're a good lawyer at that. To what extent have you been concerned about victims of this nature and putting your legal profession available or making your legal profession available for them to get justice? Or probably in association with others, other volunteers? You know, what are you doing? What do you have in mind? And what message do you have for fellow lawyers to come out there and protect the girl child?
Yes, thank you very much, sir. I'm also an associate of the women rights lawyers here in Lagos State. And I'm also affiliated with some organizations that advocate for women's rights. I also run an initiative which we tagged Sexual Offences Watch Observers. And is focused on advocating for the rights of women and girl child. And what we do is to liaise with communities, making them understand the importance of, you know, speaking up, making them understand what gender inequality is all about, and also linking them up with sexual referral health centers. So we're making sure that it's a community-centered approach. We're linking them with agencies, like I mentioned, Mirabel, Cheche Yara Foundation, Lagos Domestic Sexual Violence Agencies, as well as other female legal networks that exist, FIDA, that exist to, you know, fight for their rights. And I would say my word of encouragement to lawyers here is to understand that, to remember that, you know, the rights of not just women and girl child, but the rights of everyone is sacrosanct and very important. And so if there's any avenue or platform to protect these rights, then definitely seize this opportunity and make sure to provide that services for that human rights to be promoted.
Fantastic, fantastic. All right, finally, when we talk of gender violence, in most cases, it is the female part that are the victims. So that maltreatment is coming from where? From the male side. Whether in marriage, whether on the street, whether in any form, like you have explained. Now, women and men are in the center of it. What are the words? Very serious words do you have for men to take it easy? To know or to realize that humanity does not tolerate maltreatment, does not tolerate, you know, oppression, does not tolerate slavery, as I want to put it. Because when you just see a person as a ball that you can kick, you turn that person to a slave. So, what are the words you have for them before we part?
Yes, my words for men, or for those that may want to, you know, perpetrate, you know, gender-based violence, perpetrators of gender-based violence, or those that do not understand what it means, I would say, first of all, educate yourself about what gender inequality is all about gender-based violence and how it occurs. And then secondly, understand that the fact that you have human rights also means that the other gender, which is the female gender, also have human rights. Yes. So where your own right stops is where another one begins. So make sure that you're always protecting and promoting these rights at all times. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. I think I get a
Yes, I get.
Rama, yes. I want you to remember something also. You know, keep harping on, you know, the female, what they are going through. I want to believe, and I've heard severally, how male child too is going through a lot. And if we keep our eyes close to it, we may end up being biased or seen as being biased. So let's strike a balance. How how do you address the issue of gender violence against the male or
Yes.
the boy child? If I can create that,
Yes.
against the boy
The
child.
boy child, yes. Indeed, the boy child also are being abused in homes and in families and in the society. My organization, we have partnered with an organization, Life After Abuse Foundation. And this Life After Abuse Foundation is actually owned by a woman, but it's focused on the male, not just the male, the boy child, but also men in general. Because the idea is about advocating for their mental health, creating a support system for them to be able to speak up. You know, men generally, they have this ego and they don't want to speak up. Because first of all, when you say, a woman is beating me, people be like, how is a woman beating you?
It's a kind of shame.
Exactly. So it's the perception that we have in our community and in the society. So most men prefer to just bottle it up, maybe just have drink with friends, than speaking up and saying, I am being abused, by speaking up and saying I'm being oppressed. So when you check online, you see the statistics saying more about women and girls. Why? Because the men are not speaking up. We cannot come and form statistics for the men child, but it cannot be, you cannot remove that fact that the men and the boy child are being abused. So my encouragement is for them to speak up more, seek mental health support, do not be shy about it, do not be ashamed, and for the society also not to ridicule or criticize
Or
them,
stigmatize
them when they speak up for their rights.
Oh, beautiful. Now, I want to add this before you go. I want to draw your attention to something, still on the boy child thing. Do you know we have some adult perverts that also abuse them sexually?
Yes.
You are aware of that?
Yes, sir.
What's your view on that?
It's very wrong. In fact, it's illegal. The violence against...
I want to say pathetic too.
Pathetic, yes. The Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, that's the VAP Act, made provisions for that caters to that, because it's not supposed to be done. I'm trying to look for a better word, but it's a crime. It's a crime, it's an offense.
It's an abomination, a taboo.
And it's punishable. So most times when you do more findings, you find out that those people, most of them have mental health issues. But they've not, worked on that mental health issue that will make you to pervert a male child. Exactly. So most of them are going through a lot of issues. Some of them, when you do more research, some of them have been also abused when they were young. So they were a prey, they grew up, they became predator, and the cycle continues.